I mean,
But
I'm
here's the
also
problem, though.
open
Here's
to,
the problem
like,
with America that
Okay.
we're ignoring. America is only a huge step up in freedom and liberty and wealth if you're pretty poor. Those geniuses and go-getters you're talking about can live anywhere in Europe they want, places with longer life expectancies, higher rates of happiness, like however you measure that, in every way, superior countries to ours, except for military power and economic power. But you could live a wonderful life in the south of France if you're one of these genius go-getters. Why go to New Jersey? Why?
Because we'll incentivize actual.
Because that's where the pharmaceutical R&D happens.
Some things money can't buy, especially when you're one of those genius go-getters that you want so bad.
We want the genius go-getters, but the United States.
You think Shohei Ohtani was going to play for a team that wasn't on the West Coast?
The U.S. current immigration policy incentivizes net takers to come here. That's a huge negative. We don't want that. We want net makers.
I'm not sure what numbers you're looking at, but like the Cato Institute has looked into this many times, for example, and they came to the conclusion that the immigrant population is a massive boon to the economy, not a net negative. They also measured patriotism levels, and they said that they have. I'm just reading what I'm reading here.
I know, that's just funny.
Patriotism levels similar to native-born Americans or even higher. Additionally, immigrants and their descendants exhibit more trust in American government institution than native-born Americans. However, there's a notable gap in patriotic attachment and civic knowledge between native-born citizens and immigrant citizens. So there's some nuance here. But
they take a tremendous amount from California and from federal assistance agencies in the form of housing vouchers, schooling, healthcare. Like it's a net negative. If some poor family from Honduras moves here and they're dependent on us, that's not the kind of immigration I want.
I don't know how
if there's a genius in Honduras who can help our military in some way, I want him plucked out and brought here.
You have an argument when you talk about like some wage depression at some income levels in some sectors, but every credible study that I've ever seen on the impact on the economy shows that immigrants are a net boon to the economy by far.
I disagree. They're a net boon for giant business and business oligarchs because they drive down the cost of labor.
Yeah, they're great for the stock market.
These are people that participate in their local economies. They spend money at local mom and pop shops. They prop up their local economies. They spend money. They're more prosperous than other countries here. So
then I want those people.
They pay taxes.
I want those people. My only concern with this immigration,
your entire economy in California is buoyed by like 6 companies. If those all decide to move to Minnesota or Montana tomorrow, you guys are in tough shit.
They'd find they don't have the workforce.
They'd bring them. They don't give a fuck. They just import them.
I guess I don't understand the argument.
Yeah, no, I was
saying that, like,
my Cisco experience. Like they try their hardest to get less. California employees earn more. They try their hardest to put satellites in other places. I worked at one, and the Californians just don't move. They like it where they are.
We saw some net moving during the COVID stuff, but then that reversed. Like we had population decline, I think, for 2 or 3 years, and now we're back in the.
I think it was a bridge too far for a lot of people. Like how restrictive things were.
Well, the difference is California's population is buoyed by immigration, and so like all those people, those Americans leaving, it's not like they came back. They don't come back. That they were replaced by more people from south.
Well, immigrants are Americans, right?
If they're like real deal Americans, yeah. If you're like some scumbag,
what kind of an American are you?
If you're like some dude, if you got naturalized and you're like a first generation immigrant and you're ripping off our welfare programs like in Minnesota, fuck you. Denaturalize and get rid of that person. That's absurd. You show up in a country that was willing to accept you and to let you live here, and then you defraud us. Go fuck yourself.
I agree with you, but that was 85 people, right? Am I crazy? Am I way off? I don't know Minnesota? How 85 people could be 10 billion. It has to be
it's way more than 85 people. It's a huge, huge
2 billion.
There were more than 85. There were more than 85 daycares that got investigated with this.
Yeah, I must be wrong.
I think we're on the same page with that fraud. And look, I want people to come here. I prefer if it's go-getters, but if it's just a guy who will work hard and naturalize and be patriotic, I want him too. We got plenty of fucking room here. We're incredibly rich. I just don't like key sectors of our economy being replaced and ruined by vast swaths of like copy paste worker bees from the dregs of the planet. That's what I want to avoid. As far as those little scary ass communities where there was a group of Arabs who moved in like to my neck of the woods back in the country, and they immediately formed a compound that was like set way back into some property, and they were always back there shooting guns off. So we all thought the worst, you know, like they didn't introduce themselves like, "Hi, I'm Samir. I love the target shoot. I was on the Olympic team back in Lebanon.
I am so happy to be in America."
Like, they had their ladies wrapped up pretty tight, you know, looked like you were moving some furniture around, and they were always over there shooting guns off, and it was a little sketchy and scary. So I think I would prefer if you assimilate, like.
Well, I think I would buy into. I would be more sympathetic to this if you demonstrated that like immigrants are more likely to commit fraud or more likely to commit crime. But every reputable study that we have on this shows the opposite. They are committing less crime than native-born Americans. So
yeah, I'm fine with that. It's the illegal immigrants. It's the people who have like invaded that I worry about, because
the native-born Americans
don't matter.
Wait, but which group? Which group is driving up the crime stats and making that possible? What's going on?
What are you? Wait, hold on. What do you say? That sounded like
pretty sure this is about black people.
You know exactly what I'm saying.
Regardless,
I can't address it. Can't address it.
Well, wait, hold on. Do you understand what I'm saying though? Like if you could demonstrate that immigrants were here committing fraud at higher rates than native-born Americans, then sure, we could talk about that. But have you seen data that I haven't seen?
Yes, we're watching $10 billion of fraud happen in Minnesota alone.
That's like one thing. I'm talking about broad
I think the important thing with the crime committed by immigrants is whether they are invaders or immigrants, because we just call anybody who's here that wasn't from here an immigrant, apparently. Sure. If you crossed over illegally, then I don't care at what rate you commit crime, because if you commit crimes at a rate of 0.1%, that's one crime too fucking many for someone who's not supposed to be here in the first place. So I don't care at what rate people who illegally come into the country commit crimes, because any rate is too many. Any rate is avoidable. They've already committed a crime. They're here illegally. They should be removed. So committing crimes at any rate is no good. They committed a crime as soon as they got here, and that's the position of the federal government anyway. That their very passage into this country was their first crime that they are wanted for and detainable for. And so any subsequent crimes are just extras on top that shouldn't even happen. So I don't care what rate they commit crimes. But people who come here immigrate, I believe that people who immigrate here legally are not very likely to commit crimes, because it's so goddamn hard to come here illegally. Sure. That's a man who knows how to do paperwork. All right. He's going to love the DMV. Oh, so simple and straightforward.
That guy's grinding. He's filling out a bunch of horse shit, and then on the next page, he's like, "I swear to God, I just said all of this. Fuck, I have to write it again," because that's how paperwork is.
That's the doctor's office for me.
Yeah, and so I don't think any of us here, Hutch, hate immigrants. We just want, or I just want them to immigrant.
He's stowed away on a boat.
They need to become American. You can't have, if you're gonna be an American, you got to be a fucking American. You can't like have loyalty to a previous country. You can't have this shit. Like, no, you're here now. You got to own it.
I always place myself in that position though. Like if you went to France, wouldn't you still like identify as American a little bit? And it would just, it wouldn't be until your kids grew up.
That kind of is the issue, isn't it? Is there is an inherent and an intrinsic loyalty. You can
still be a net positive to France, even though you're like, yeah, you know, I'm French now, but I still have some American values I started with. And then your kids go to the French school system and they integrate more fully. And that to me is
fine with it as long as they're not passing state secrets. You're going to have the second generation will have only stories of the homeland, and the third generation won't even hear about it.
Yeah.
And they'll stop eating with their hands eventually, because that's filthy.
Dude,
you fucking barbarian.
Eating with your hands is fine, but that's for like sandwiches and chicken and things.
Nachos.
When you put your fingers in your mouth too, and then you like put it back in the communal bowl, that is part of becoming an American. We don't do that.
No. Back in a communal bowl. Is that a thing?
Dude, in all of Africa, yes. Yeah, they grab this like weird paste that's made of carbohydrates, and they make it into a ball.
Is it taro?
I don't know. I think taro is South American, but they dip it in like a sauce paste, and then they put it all in their mouth, and then they suck their fingers off. But then they go back to the place where everybody was grabbing from.
And
Have you
defense of
have you guys
Indians,
tried
my
Ethiopian
observation has
food?
been no communal bowls. They do a lot of what Taylor said, but not with communal bowls. They all have their own little dipping stations.
Have you guys
That would
tried
be more
Ethiopian
acceptable.
food, by the way? Because it's fucking incredible.
Is that where they like just bring you a big piece of parchment paper and it's a bunch of things that look like baby shit?
It's not. It's not paper. It's a bed of It's like it tastes
I don't
like
think you went to an Ethiopian
sourdough
restaurant.
bread. It tastes like sourdough bread, but the texture is almost like a sponge. And you take off portions of it, and you pick up like really like heavily seasoned like chicken or beef or
That sounds good.
lamb.
Is it
or,
meat heavy or is it vegetable heavy?
lot of meat, and it's like really kind of acidic. But it's the trademark is the signature. Is this it right here? Yeah, that little foundation of bread, that the spongy bread is fucking incredible.
Interesting.
My mouth is like
I'm not
watering
caring
right now.
for the puddles of food that I'm
I
seeing.
You
don't
get a little
like
messy.
that.
You get a little messy, but it's not a
Is this
communal
before
situation.
they cook it?
Can I roll this thing up and start eating it like a burrito? Will they frown on that?
I mean,
No,
this is America. Do what
this
you
is
want
like
to
a-
do. You know,
It's like a tablecloth. I don't
Put your
think
own
you
food
on
can
it.
crazy.
Well, we can let those guys in as long as they assimilate. And I think Hutch, I think you mentioned Nigeria.
I think
That
you
seems
did.
like
I
a
don't-
country that, or maybe Kyle, that
I say Ethiopia. I think for
That-
food.
Ethiopia food is rough, dude. But the Nigeria model, I don't see huge enclaves of Nigerians anywhere. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm misinformed. It seems like that's a country where we do a good job of like plucking, being like, this guy's fucking good.
I don't know.
Get
I have no-
him. Like, don't let the wave in. Just grab the good guy. Isn't that what we do?
I don't know shit about Nigeria. I know that there are.
I know they're
I
killing
don't
those
know if there are
Christians.
Nigerian
Yes, no, no,
enclaves.
beat
You
them
know,
up.
yeah.